Our planet faces an unprecedented crisis, the silent invasion of alien species. These invaders disrupt nature's balance, pushing native species towards extinction. Among them is the Asian jumping worm, an unassuming creature with the potential to wreak havoc. This worm lurks in the soil, threatening our forests and gardens. Their story is a stark reminder that even the smallest creatures can have a profound impact. Our journey takes us into the hidden world beneath our feet, where the battle for survival is waged in silence. The Asian jumping worm is rapidly altering our ecosystems, demanding our attention. The Asian jumping worm hails from Eastern Asia and was first detected in North America in the early 20th century. These worms are known for their jumping behavior and rapid reproduction. Unlike beneficial earthworms, they strip the soil of vital nutrients, leaving it granular and disrupted. This invasion impacts water retention, nutrient cycling, and the survival of native plants and animals. Their story is a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance and responsible stewardship. The threat of Asian jumping worms extends beyond aesthetic changes. Their appetite for organic matter sets off a chain reaction affecting the entire food web. Depleted nutrients impact plant growth, herbivores, and top predators. Altered soil structure leads to erosion and degraded water quality. This invasion is a call to action to protect our planet's delicate balance. The invasion of Asian jumping worms is an economic and social issue. Soil degradation impacts agricultural productivity and food security. Biodiversity loss affects carbon sequestration and potential medical discoveries. Combating invasive species requires scientific research, public awareness, and policy changes. By working together, we can protect our planet's biodiversity and ensure a healthy future. In our gardens and forests, a silent invasion is underway. Asian jumping worms, unlike beneficial earthworms, transform fertile landscapes into barren wastelands. Their frantic movements and distinctive features set them apart. When disturbed, they thrash and even launch themselves into the air. Their bodies are smooth and firm, with a milky white clitellum. Identifying these invaders is crucial to understanding the threat they pose. Their presence is a stark reminder of the impact small creatures can have. The Asian jumping worm invasion involves 3 species, each with unique characteristics. Amynthus agrestis, often mistaken for European nightcrawlers, has a milky white clitellum and frantic movements. Amynthus tokyoensis prefers warmer climates and has a reddish-brown hue. Metaphyre hilgendorfi, with dark pigmentation, thrives in urban gardens. Identifying these invaders is the first line of defense. Recognizing their features helps prevent their spread and mitigate damage. These 3 species share an insatiable appetite for organic matter. They transform the forest floor into a barren wasteland, disrupting the ecosystem. Native plants struggle to survive, impacting insects, birds, and other wildlife. The delicate balance of the forest floor is disrupted, leading to erosion and loss of topsoil. The invasion of Asian jumping worms is a reminder of the profound impact small creatures can have. Their rapid reproduction rates make them a formidable force. The transformation by Asian jumping worms is a slow, insidious process. Fertile soil loses its structure, becoming granular and sterile. The forest floor becomes barren, resembling coffee grounds. Altered soil loses moisture retention, leading to erosion. Native plants struggle to survive, exposed to harsh elements. This silent transformation is a reminder of the interconnectedness of our world. The story of the Asian jumping worm in North America is a tale of unintended consequences. These invaders arrived as stowaways in the early 20th century. They slipped past quarantine measures, spreading through ports and nurseries. The very plants meant to beautify our gardens became vehicles for their dispersal. Their journey across the ocean marked the beginning of an ecological upheaval. Asian jumping worms established themselves in gardens, parks, and nurseries. Their rapid reproduction and adaptability allowed them to thrive. Human activities like soil movement and landscaping facilitated their spread. The sharing of plants and soil among gardeners exacerbated the problem. The once fertile soils began to show signs of their presence, heralding ecological changes. Asian jumping worms possess an insatiable appetite for organic matter. They devour the forest floor's organic layer, vital for a healthy ecosystem. Their feeding disrupts nutrient cycling and soil structure. The altered soil impacts water infiltration and native plant survival. The once rich tapestry of life unravels as these invaders consume their way through the forest floor. The impact of Asian jumping worms extends beyond their appetites. They disrupt the soil food web, affecting decomposition and nutrient cycling. Fungi and bacteria, crucial for breaking down organic matter, are altered. Native plants struggle to obtain nutrients, giving invasive species an advantage. The invasion sets off a chain reaction, impacting soil health and plant communities. The vanishing act of forest in decline. The Asian jumping worm invasion is a silent crisis, transforming our forests from vibrant ecosystems to depleted landscapes. The signs, at first subtle, become increasingly apparent as the worms tighten their grip on the soil. The once lush understory begins to thin, the vibrant greens fading as native plants struggle to survive. The forest floor transforms into a barren expanse of loose, granular soil. The trees begin to show signs of stress as the worms disrupt the soil ecosystem. The forest, once resilient, begins to show its vulnerability. The Asian jumping worm invasion is a wake-up call, urging us to pay attention to the delicate balance beneath our feet. As the Asian jumping worms tighten their grip on the forest floor, a wave of silence sweeps through the understory, a chilling testament to the loss of biodiversity that follows in their wake. The intricate web of life that once thrived beneath the forest canopy begins to unravel as native plants and the creatures that depend on them struggle to survive in the altered environment. The wildflowers that once painted the forest floor with splashes of color disappear, their seeds unable to germinate in the compacted, nutrient-depleted soil. The ferns, their delicate fronds unfurling in the dappled sunlight, dwindle as the worms devour the organic matter they need to thrive. The seedlings of trees, the future generation of the forest, struggle to take root, their chances of survival diminished in the altered environment. The silence extends beyond the plant kingdom. The insects that once buzzed among the wildflowers, their pollinating activities essential for the forest's regeneration, decline as their food sources disappear. The salamanders that sought refuge in the cool, moist leaf litter find their habitat decimated, their populations dwindling as the worms transform their once welcoming home into a barren wasteland. The loss of biodiversity is a tragedy in its own right, a diminishment of the richness and wonder of the natural world, but it is also a threat to the health and resilience of the entire ecosystem. The ecological consequences of the Asian jumping worm invasion extend far beyond the forest floor, their impact rippling outward through the intricate web of life that connects all creatures within an ecosystem. As the foundation of the food web crumbles, the effects cascade upwards, impacting animals at every trophic level. The small mammals that once scurried through the undergrowth, their diets reliant on the seeds, fruits, and insects found amongst the native plants, struggle to find sustenance in the depleted landscape. Their populations decline, their ability to reproduce and raise their young compromised by the lack of food. The birds that once filled the forest with their songs, their nests hidden amongst the foliage of the understory, face a similar plight. The insects they rely on to feed their young become scarce, their nesting sites vulnerable in the thinned undergrowth. Their populations decline, their vibrant melodies fading from the forest symphony. Even the predators at the top of the food chain, the hawks and owls that patrol the forest canopy, feel the impact of the Asian jumping worm invasion. Their prey, weakened and diminished by the lack of food, become less abundant and more difficult to catch. The delicate balance of the ecosystem, carefully crafted over millennia, is thrown into disarray. The Asian jumping worm invasion serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things and the fragility of the ecosystems that sustain us. Their presence, though seemingly insignificant at first glance, has the power to unravel the delicate balance that has evolved over millennia, transforming lush landscapes into depleted shadows of their former selves. The future of our forests, and indeed the health of our planet, depends on our ability to recognize the threat posed by invasive species like the Asian jumping worm, and to take action to prevent their spread and mitigate their impact. This requires a multifaceted approach, combining scientific research, public awareness campaigns, and responsible land management practices. We must become more vigilant in our efforts to prevent the introduction and spread of invasive species, working together to protect our forests from these silent invaders. This includes being mindful of the plants we purchase and transport, inspecting soil and mulch for signs of infestation, and supporting organizations dedicated to invasive species management. The challenge before us is great, but the stakes are even higher. The fate of our forests and the countless species that call them home rests in our hands. The time to act is now, before the silent invasion becomes an ecological catastrophe. The fight against the Asian jumping worm is a battle waged on multiple fronts, a complex and often frustrating endeavor hampered by the worm's elusive nature and our limited understanding of its biology and behavior. Their ability to reproduce rapidly, coupled with their dispersal through human activities, makes containment a daunting task. Traditional methods of controlling invasive earthworms, such as chemical treatments, prove ineffective against Asian jumping worms and pose significant risks to the surrounding ecosystem. The very soil they inhabit, a complex web of life supporting countless organisms, is vulnerable to the unintended consequences of such interventions. Their ability to thrive in disturbed environments such as gardens, parks, and landscaped areas further complicates control efforts. These human-modified landscapes, often fragmented and disconnected from natural areas, provide ample opportunities for the worms to establish themselves and spread. The challenge before us is to develop effective control strategies that target the worms while minimizing harm to the surrounding ecosystem. This requires a nuanced understanding of their life cycle, dispersal mechanisms, and ecological interactions. While a silver bullet solution to the Asian jumping worm invasion remains elusive, a combination of management strategies, implemented with vigilance and a commitment to long-term monitoring, offers hope for containment and control. This is not a battle fought solely by scientists and land managers, but a call to arms for all citizens to play their part in protecting our natural heritage. Public awareness is paramount. Educating ourselves and our communities about the threat posed by these invaders, their identification, and the steps we can take to prevent their spread is crucial. Gardeners, in particular, play a vital role in stemming the tide of invasion, as they are often the first line of defense in preventing the worm's introduction and spread. Simple practices such as inspecting plants and soil for signs of infestation before purchase or transport, composting plant material properly to destroy egg cocoons, and avoiding the movement of soil or mulch from infested areas can significantly reduce the risk of spreading these invaders. Research into biological control agents, such as parasitic fungi or nematodes that specifically target Asian jumping worms, holds promise for the future. However, such solutions require rigorous testing to ensure their safety and efficacy before widespread implementation. Vigilance and prevention, our first line of defense. In the ongoing battle against the Asian jumping worm, vigilance and prevention emerge as our most potent weapons. Early detection of infestations, coupled with swift and decisive action, can make a significant difference in containing their spread and minimizing their impact on our ecosystems. Gardeners and land managers must become familiar with the telltale signs of infestation: the characteristic granular soil texture, the presence of adult worms, or their egg cocoons, and the decline of native plant species. Regular monitoring of vulnerable areas, particularly those adjacent to known infestations or those frequently disturbed by human activities, is essential. If an infestation is detected, swift action is required to contain its spread. This may involve physically removing and destroying adult worms and egg cocoons, solarizing infested soil by covering it with clear plastic to trap heat, or applying beneficial nematodes that target earthworms. Preventing the introduction of Asian jumping worms into new areas is paramount. This requires educating ourselves and others about the risks associated with moving plants, soil, mulch, and compost, as well as advocating for responsible horticultural practices that minimize the risk of spreading invasive species. Restoring the balance, a hope for the future. The invasion of the Asian jumping worm presents a significant challenge to the health and integrity of our ecosystems, but it is not a lost cause. By embracing a long-term perspective, fostering collaboration among scientists, land managers, and citizens, and prioritizing research and innovation, we can strive to restore the delicate balance that these invaders have disrupted. Research into the worm's biology, behavior, and ecological interactions is crucial for developing effective control strategies. Understanding their life cycle, dispersal mechanisms, and vulnerabilities will enable us to target them more effectively while minimizing harm to native species and the surrounding environment. Restoring degraded ecosystems will require a multifaceted approach, including removing invasive plants that may benefit from the altered soil conditions, amending the soil with organic matter to improve its structure and fertility, and reintroducing native plant species that can thrive in the presence of these invaders. The fight against the Asian jumping worm is a marathon, not a sprint. It will require our sustained commitment, ingenuity, and a deep respect for the interconnectedness of all living things. By working together, we can strive to protect the future of our forests and preserve the biodiversity that enriches our planet. The power of awareness. The Asian jumping worm invasion is a stark reminder that even the smallest of creatures can have a profound impact. Their spread transforms fertile soils into barren wastelands, symbolizing the interconnectedness of our planet. Amidst disruption, awareness and collective action offer hope. By understanding the issue, we can turn the tide against these invaders. Learning about the worm helps prevent its spread and mitigate damage. Sharing information and engaging communities raises awareness and empowers action. Awareness ignites shared responsibility, leading to choices that benefit our planet. Our collective responsibility. The fight against the Asian jumping worm is not a solitary pursuit, but a collective endeavor, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and collaboration in the face of ecological challenges. From scientists to land managers, from policymakers to everyday citizens, we all have a role to play in protecting our ecosystems from these silent invaders. Researchers continue to unravel the mysteries of the Asian jumping worm, seeking to understand its biology, its behavior, and its interactions with native species, in order to develop effective control strategies that minimize harm to the surrounding environment. Land managers work tirelessly to implement these strategies, monitoring vulnerable areas, containing infestations, and restoring degraded habitats. Policymakers play a crucial role in enacting legislation and regulations that prevent the introduction and spread of invasive species, while also providing funding for research, monitoring, and control efforts. But the front lines of this battle extend beyond laboratories, forests, and government offices, reaching into our own backyards and communities. Each one of us can make a difference. By educating ourselves about invasive species, by making responsible choices in our gardening and landscaping practices, by supporting organizations dedicated to conservation, and by advocating for policies that protect our natural heritage, we contribute to a collective effort far greater than the sum of its parts.